Good evening, everyone. My name is Christine Binger. This is my EDL 851 Module 1 introductory video. To start a little bit about myself, I grew up in Overland Park, Kansas. That's also where I currently live. I completed my undergrad at K-State. I graduated in 2013. And then I started my first teaching job at Junction City, and I taught English, pre-AP English, and Lit Lab for 1 year. But I was in Junction for a total of 4 years, and I loved every minute of it. I decided to move back to Kansas City for this school year, and so this is my first year. I'm currently teaching in Kansas City, Missouri, which is quite a different environment because 100% of my students are low SES. We speak 52 languages in our building. We have new students coming in from parts of the world every day, so it's quite an interesting transition, like new learning experience for me with this, and I'm currently really enjoying it. So that's where I'm at right now. Why do I want to become a principal or supervisor? I want to start by saying I don't want to become a head principal. I would like to become an assistant principal. I just feel like I love to be a part of making decisions and having an impact, but I definitely don't want to deal with some of the items that a principal has to deal with, like more hands-on with the board and the community, in a way that kind of takes away from what I feel like a principal should be doing, which is more time in the classroom and in the schools observing, which is part of why I think the hands-on decision-making is such a huge reason as to why I want to be an administrator. I just find that to be valuable, that they get to sit in meetings that I would love to sit in that I don't have the time because I have classes to teach. And being a part of that decision-making process, I think, is important and something I want to be a part of, as well as implementing new programs and opportunities for students to learn and develop, and for our teachers to learn and develop. I always like trying new things, and when new initiatives come in, I'm always the first one to be willing to try them. So I want to help teachers find programs that work for them and their students and constantly evolve and develop that with them. My personal experience with supervising responsibilities, when I worked in Junction, I started a tutoring program to help my pre-AP students better prepare for AP, and then eventually AP students prepare for testing. Because while these are students that are typically more advanced than the average student, they still need a lot of time and attention, and I felt like we were missing that in our classes, so I set up time every week and hosted, led, taught, and supervised these tutoring opportunities for these students. And I got to know my students, and they improved greatly as a result of this. And I think that it's something that was really important that needed to be done, and I was happy to do it. In addition, I've hosted college students for 3 years when I was in Junction City, and I was a part of helping them develop ideas, teach those ideas in my classroom, and then I evaluated and reflected with them in this process, which was cool because I like to help, like I said, but also it was kind of like a mini assistant principal supervisor opportunity to see how I would handle these situations, and I really enjoyed that opportunity. My experience with observations and evaluations, I feel like I am very fortunate because when I was in Junction City, I had such great administrators and evaluators who would come in and really take the time to meet with me before, observe my classes, and meet with me after. And no matter how good my observations went or what things took place, including bad, they always pushed me to go a little bit further and ask for a little bit more for my students and do a little bit more for myself as a result of these, which I feel like is why we do evaluations. They tend to be a lot of paperwork and state required items, but at the end of the day, that time to discuss and reflect on how you did with somebody who's watching you is incredibly valuable, and I was very fortunate to have such a great opportunity with that. Now, in my new school, it's a little different of a model. It could be because I've switched states. I was in Kansas and now I'm in Missouri. But there's not as much hands-on observations as I'm used to. And while I kind of appreciate it because, like I said, there's paperwork and a lot that goes into having somebody come observe you and evaluate you, I also miss having the chance to question and justify and kind of have that dialogue with somebody who has so much experience. I would love to have more of that. So my experiences are generally really good, but I'm wanting more of that. And so I'm hoping that in the coming years I can work towards getting more of that. Thank you for listening. I look forward to what the semester brings here, and good night.